Do you want to increase the productivity of employees in your organization? Are you concerned about keeping your employees or the high cost your company pays when they go off on stress leave? Hi, I'm Dr. Kuelker, psychologist and creator of Feedback Improved Leadership. In this video, you will learn the core principle that boosts productivity and retention and sharply reduces stress and burnout in your employees. If you are frustrated in your efforts to achieve any of these outcomes, there is a solution. It's straightforward, it's based on science, and it will build your company into the most high-performing organization around. And it all starts with one thing. It is the single best predictor of an employee's productivity and retention. It also is the biggest predictor of whether an employee will burn out or stay engaged. Companies that know what it is and put significant effort each week into improving it will pull ahead of the rest. And this factor is the quality of relationship between a manager and employee. If it is a high-quality relationship, there are a host of positive benefits to the employee and the company. But all too often, it is not in good shape. Dr. Robert Hogan, the psychologist who specializes in this area, estimates that 70% of managers are incompetent. Interaction Associates surveyed 300 different companies last year. They found that only 31% of people agreed that their organization was led effectively. Let that statistic roll around in your brain for a while. 70% of managers are incompetent. That is a staggering number. Now you can imagine what happens next. Productivity takes a big hit. People leave the organization as soon as they can. They burn out and they get seriously sick. In fact, the reason I got involved with this area was that every single week, another client would come into my office severely depressed because of having a toxic manager. And these were not crummy employees either. They were at multi-billion-dollar companies and had won gold medals or Employee of the Year awards. So what can be done to increase the skill of managers? Well, the answer is simple. Give managers objective feedback on a frequent basis as to the quality of their interactions with their direct reports. This also happens to be the one process that turns ordinary people into expert performers. If people get a lot of objective feedback and then practice the skill, they can become expert musicians or athletes. But with no feedback comes no improvement. And the need for objective feedback is incredibly important. Let's look at hand washing in doctors. If they do not do it right, they will transfer bacteria from one patient to the other. This might kill the second patient. So one group of researchers asked doctors how often they wash their hands correctly. The goal is 100%. And the doctor said, 75% of the time. But when the researchers followed them around and watched, they found that they washed their hands properly only 9% of the time. That's right, less than 10%. Even though this is a life and death issue, the physicians missed the boat. Why? They had the best training on the planet on the need to wash hands. They'd been through medical school. The problem was that there was a gap between what they wanted to believe about how well they did and the facts about how well they did. And the space between their beliefs and reality was literally killing their patients. The same thing exists in your business. There is a gap between what you want to believe about the quality of leadership in your business and the reality. And that gap is crippling your business and your employees. How do I know? Because every week another person walks into my office wanting to die because the quality of leadership that they are experiencing is so far from what it needs to be. So, what can fix the problem? In the case of the doctors, more education was not the answer. They already were doctors. The solution was to routinely give them objective feedback on the quality of their hand washing. So several hospitals started giving physicians frequent feedback, and the rate of correct hand washing tripled. We have seen how getting feedback can literally have a life and death impact. It ensures the right things are done, and it helps people increase their expertise. Let us now look around the field of management. Where do you see leaders using this very powerful approach? The answer is nowhere. Sure, there are a couple of systems, but they fall far short of creating expert leaders. Let's look at 360-degree feedback. One manager told me that he waited 6 months to get his results. Well, how good would a tennis player be if she waited 6 months to get feedback from her coach on how well she served the ball? And what if her next round of feedback was 2 years later? Another form of feedback is employee engagement surveys. But these just give you averages of what employees think. The results say 63% of employees think this, or 42% think something else. But what if a coach said nothing during a whole practice and then told the players at the end that on 37% of plays, a man was out of position? Well, which man? Which play? Where should he have been? The survey does not give the leader specific feedback of what they need to change and with whom. It does not zoom in if the problem is with how the manager relates to younger employees or if the manager talks too much. You need specific feedback to become an expert, not just averages. This is partly why employee engagement levels are actually dropping instead of improving over time. Frequent objective feedback is the solution. It is the path to creating real expertise. So, I brought this into my business. When I got this from my clients, my effectiveness skyrocketed. And all it took was 2 minutes a session. Feedback improved leadership is this process transposed into leadership. The heart of FIL is for managers to walk the path that ordinary people use to become expert performers. It is a process your company can use to become a high-performing organization with truly productive, healthy employees. To learn more about increasing the expertise of your managers, go to FILeadership.com. Download the free report on how to build a winning team of leaders in your organization. It is packed with more research on how to strengthen your organization. It is free. Just go to FILeadership.com and get the report on building a winning team of leaders. I'm Dr. Kuelker, and I look forward to coaching your organization to true expertise.